Should release that as a single, shouldn't I? Well, hello everybody, and here we are, back again with yet another video recorded without the aid of a safety net or the use of a stunt double. I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? As is the fact that this weekend I'm celebrating, if that's the right word, my 62nd birthday. That's right, looking at this, youthful face and rakish schoolboy figure, you'd be forgiven for thinking that I came into being in 1994, not 30 years earlier. Yes, it is true though, as is the fact that the 3 records I want to show you today, all debuts from British rhythm and blues bands, also turned 62 this year. So don't panic, this video is about them and not a test of your mental arithmetic gymnastics, as the title might suggest. And here they are. We got the Animals debut, imaginatively titled The Animals. The Rolling Stones debut, for which they must have used the same advertising agency to name their record. And Manfred Mann, who at least came up with something a little different with their debut release, The 5 Faces of Manfred Mann. The Animals, to start with them, they were formed in 1962 in the northeast of England and consisted of Eric Burdon, Alan Price of, Simon Smith and his amazing Dancing Bear fame, Hilton Valentine, what a name, Chas Chandler, who famously discovered one Jimi Hendrix and brought him to the UK, and John Steele. The album consists of a mix of self-penned songs and cover versions, and it's clear that John Lee Hooker, Fats Domino and Chuck Berry were all huge influences on this band. The UK release, which peaked at number 6 on the UK album chart, is a wholly different recording than the US release, although that record came out a couple of months prior to the UK one. The fantastic, superb, wonderful, majestic House of the Rising Sun. Though that's present on both UK and US releases. And as a very, very young music fan playing my sister's 45s on her old Dansette record player well back in the early 1970s, it quickly became my favourite song, along with Fleetwood Mac's Albatross and what was the other one I liked? Chris Montez, Let's Dance, that's right. The Rolling Stones debut relies much more heavily on covers, with the yet-to-be prolific and uber-famous Jagger and Richards combo responsible for just one sole solitary track on the record called Tell Me, You're Coming Back. Again, it differs from the US release, which contained their hit Not Fade Away, absent from the UK record. In the US as well, the album was renamed England's Newest Hitmakers. Strange, there we are. The record was fairly unique for the time, though, bearing only a photograph of the band's members, faces only a mother could love, surely, as well, on the cover, with no wording giving any clue as to its contents or creator. The classic early Stones lineup of Jagger, Richards, Wyman, Watson, Brian Jones, God bless him, is present on the record, which reached number 1 on the UK album chart and stayed there for around 3 months. So it was a massive, massive success. And the album has received much critical acclaim, regularly being cited as one of the best albums of the early 60s, as well as regularly making lists of albums you must own or hear before you die. Not very long for me, I would have thought. Right then, the third and final album I want to share with you then is Manfred Mann's debut, The 5 Faces of Manfred Mann. Like the Stones, they originated from London, but unlike them and the Animals, at least they had a bit of a better go with the title of their record, a clear reference to the 5 members of the band on it, obviously. Although this was their UK debut, a mix of mainly originals and a smattering of cover versions, they'd already released a prior album in the US which contained tracks like Shalala and the fantastic Come Tomorrow. Their massive hit 54321 though is a strange omission from this UK release. The personnel on this British debut record are Manfred Mann, Paul Jones, Mike Vickers, Tom McGuinness, and Mike something. Can't remember. I'll put the names on the bottom, but I can't remember. And the album peaked on the UK album chart at number 3. Sorry, Mike. Mann, of course, went on to form his Earth band, with their most famous hits being Davies on the Road Again and a cover of Springsteen's Blinded by the Light. And Jones went on to have a hugely successful solo career before forming the blues band with McGuinness, as well as acting in several roles on both stage and screen, including a role in that musical Evita. Listening to the records today, it's clear they are of their time, though the Manfred Mann release stands out both in terms of originality and musical virtuosity, and is still worth a spin all these years later. And it's the one I would recommend most get in now out of these three. All three bands, of course, were part of that famous UK invasion of the American charts in the early 60s, along with other lesser-known artists like the Kinks and the Beatles. I wonder what happened to them. There you have it then, a short video looking at 3 albums released in the year of my birth, and therefore also celebrating their 62nd birthday at various times of the year. Yes, I realise I should have done this 2 years ago, but I didn't think of it back then, did I? All right. Anyway, until next time, be a nice person, is it? Ta-ra.